introduce a tree to you. In the city of Twin Falls and in southern Idaho, we have a lot of different species growing here that are really common, but also susceptible to bugs and disease and damage and not really tolerant of our alkaline soils, such as silver maples or green ash. Trees that are also susceptible to borers like Austrian pine. And we have an abundance of those, and there are a few species that don't have those problems that are perfect for our area. The tree I'm standing next to here is the dawn redwood. The dawn redwood also carries, its botanical name is one of my favorites, the Metasequoia glyptostroboides. Say that out loud 3 times fast. It's one of my favorite names to say, and is one of the 3 redwood species in the Redwood National Forest. It's the smallest of those 3, but it's also a zone 4 plant, which means it's USDA hardy down to -20 degrees. That's perfect for Idaho. There's only a couple places in Idaho like Yellowstone and Frank Church Wilderness that have a zone 3 designation, so pretty much anywhere else in Idaho these trees will survive and grow and thrive. The benefit is they have no known pest disease problems. Say that again, no known pest or disease problems. And they tolerate almost any kind of soil types. Clay soils, wet soils, dry soils, sandy, well-drained, loamy soils, even urban conditions and pollution. They tolerate all of that. So they're a perfect tree for almost any condition. However, they are pretty big. These trees will grow a big trunk, up to 7 feet wide and 70 to 100 feet tall. It's a pretty amazing tree for this area, and it's really long-lived. Fossils have been found from the tertiary period about 50 million years ago. And it was thought to be an extinct species until found in the Sichuan province of China back in the 1940s. It has since been redistributed and seeds collected and spread across the world and in the United States. But the fossils, some have been found in North America, which means that this tree also grew here. And it's because it has no pest or disease problems, it's been able to last that long. Think about that, 50 million year old species, not the tree, but the species. Each tree, you can expect 100 years out of it. This is a long-lived tree. And its size does make it very useful and pretty, has a nice pyramidal form when young and more rounded as it gets older. But the one unique thing about this tree, and maybe the only thing that people find as a negative, is that it's deciduous. It's a deciduous conifer. So it does lose its leaves every year and some small twigs. So in the spring, the leaves come out as like a fern, fan-shaped light green color. They turn dark green in the summer. And then in the fall, they turn what I would call bronze, but what other people would see as dead. And so they often think this tree is just dead, and unfortunately may cut it out of a landscape assuming that it's dead. But it's a deciduous conifer. It loses these leaves every single year and will come back. You can see it's coming back, but right now looks pretty dead, and somebody might make that mistake and cut it out. The tree is monoecious, which means the male and female parts, the reproductive organs, are on one plant. Here we see cones. These cones will produce seeds. And they're very different from pine, spruce, and fir cones. The coniferous evergreen varieties that we see around the country. So these cones are really unique and different, easy to spot and identify if you see it without leaves. You can also see the fluted trunk is a common characteristic of this species. It has these nice ridges and flaking bark that kind of peels off and sheds through the seasons. Gives it this unique reddish bronze characteristic. And all of the branches are almost at a 90-degree straight angle out of the trunk and much smaller than the main limb and the leader of the tree. So very unique character. One of those trees that you couldn't help but see and want to climb, and one of my favorites. So I hope you like this introduction to a new species you may or may not have been familiar with.